the Vegvisir, the wayfinder, the Viking compass. When we hear these words, we all get this image in our heads of what this symbol is. Now, while most people would assume that it is either a true Viking symbol or even a symbol of Christian mysticism, could it not have more to it than that? Let's take a moment and explore this further, shall we? The Vegvisir has its origins in 3 manuscripts that date back to the 19th century. The first was the Huld Manuscript, written by Vegvisir in 1860. The second was written in the same city by Vegvisir, 1868 or 1869. The third manuscript, that one, was written by an unknown author at an unknown time, but it was in the late 1800s, and it did come from the same general rough area as where the first 2 manuscripts came from. Each of these manuscripts does contain a list of magical staves or symbols or sigils. In each of these manuscripts, the symbol of the Vegvisir appears accompanied by a short inscription and also appears alongside some similar symbols, such as Solomon's sigil or the sign to catch a thief. And while the inscriptions in the first 2 are extremely similar, it is the inscription in the third that takes a dramatic turn. It is with this third inscription that it is stated that a belief or true faith in Christianity is required in order to make the Vegvisir work. The first inscription translates to, "Carry this sign with you, and you will not get lost in storms or bad weather, even though in unfamiliar surroundings." The second translates to, "Carry this sign with you, and you will not get lost in storms or die in cold weather, and will easily find your way home from the unknown." The third manuscript, where it differs, is translated as, "To avoid getting lost, keep this sign under your left arm. Its name is Vegvisir, and it will serve you if you believe in it. If you believe in God, in the name of Jesus, the meaning of this sign is hidden in these words, so you may not perish. May God give me luck and blessing in the name of Jesus." As I said earlier, this symbol does appear alongside another symbol called Solomon's sigil, and these 2 symbols bear a very striking resemblance. Solomon's sigil, as a symbol, calls back to a book called the Testament of Solomon, which is purportedly written or based upon the life of King Solomon, and it contains a lot of Abrahamic, Christian, and Jewish mysticism and magic. And it's through this connection that the symbol could have found its way from England into Iceland prior to the 19th century. And while all of this is so, these 3 manuscripts are also full of references to the Norse gods and Norse mythology. So we can't say that the manuscripts are strictly Christian manuscripts, but neither can we say that they are strictly pagan or heathen manuscripts either. We know that during the Viking Age it was not uncommon for Norse people to incorporate elements of Christianity into the worship of the Norse gods. In fact, it wouldn't have been uncommon to find a Norse person who included the Christian god as one of the members of their own household pantheon, the gods that their household worshipped. And so it would not have been uncommon for a practitioner to mix Christian mysticism and magical beliefs and ideas into the practice of their Norse beliefs, to the practice of their Norse magic. Often, practitioners would incorporate their pagan symbols or rituals in order to give more power to them. It wasn't until around the 1980s when Dr. Stephen Flowers published his book that the Vegvisir started to take on a much more prominent role in society, how it started to become more mainstream. It was during this time that the lack of academic sources, the lack of academic research or work done on the Vegvisir had allowed for a situation in which the few sources that were writing about it were taken as being, for lack of a better way to phrase it, almost holy, because they seemed to be taken directly from Icelandic sources, even if the information they were taking wasn't necessarily translated over in the best way possible. It was during the early days of the internet when Dr. Stephen Flowers' book got published very widely, pushed around, so that people were seeing it a lot more. It was a lot easier for people to come across the work of Dr. Stephen Flowers than it was to come across some obscure book from the early 1900s that was only written in German or only written in Icelandic. So while we have Dr. Stephen Flowers to thank for the Vegvisir being in the public consciousness today, we have to think about what the symbol means, what it means for us. Even though the exact origins of the Vegvisir are not known, and it does contain so many striking similarities to Solomon's sigil and other Christian mystic symbolism, we can't rule out the possibility that the symbol itself may be of pagan roots. It may be that the Vegvisir that we know today is not the same Vegvisir that would have been used 1,000 years ago. Over time, cultures change, practices change. The symbol could have changed and evolved and been reinterpreted over and over again until it became the variation that we see today. It is entirely possible that this symbol, it has changed, and it is possible that this symbol will continue to change. So in the end, it doesn't necessarily matter what the origins of this symbol are, because we know what the symbol means to us. That is what matters. If you enjoyed the video here today, don't forget to like and share. Hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notified whenever we post new videos. We are currently giving away a free copy of Runes for Beginners by Lisa Chamberlain. If you would like to enter the giveaway for that book, all you have to do is take a screenshot showing you are subscribed to the channel and post it to our Discord in the giveaways thread. You'll be able to find a link for the Discord in the description down below. In addition, Patreon supporters do get an extra entry into every single one of our giveaways. They also get access to Patreon exclusive live streams and a section of the Discord that is just for them. If you're interested in being a Patreon supporter, you can check out the link in the description down below where you can find more details. You'll also find down in the description a list of sources that were used in compiling the video here today. You'll even find a link to where you can download a PDF of the Huld Manuscript. The manuscript is public domain, so it is free to download. Check it out down below. Now with that, I'll leave you with these final words. Remember, there is no one true way. Skull.